Hello everyone and welcome to week 2 of the Titan Immortal League. My name is Tokibi and joining me today is Crimson. How are you this fine evening?
Doing great, and I'm happy to make my foray into the Immortal League here, especially with you, Tokibi. We've had many casts elsewhere, but I think this is the first time on this league in particular.
Oh, definitely. I mean, this is my second time casting on this league as well, so gonna be a ton of fun though. It should be a pretty solid matchup today. We have Desperado Esports Damocles versus Milk Esports. Now, Desperado is coming off of a win, and they were even able to take down Cupid, who I think many of us suspected to be one of the stronger rosters going into this league.
Yeah, of course you would say that, as we have ourselves here. So Milky Sports kind of a newcomer on the field overall. They've been having teams pop up everywhere, so excited to see what they're going to be bringing to Titan. Of course, I've seen them in ACL, as they did end up winning that one. So let's see how they're going to be doing in the Master tier.
Yeah, no, Milk Esports, this specific squad, this specific iteration of Milk Esports, I actually casted them on Tuesday over on Aegis. Now, they were against a very strong team. They were against Drop Dead Gaming Genesis, who's also in Titan, but in a separate group here. And they're a really tough team, and Milk did get 2-0'd by them. However, they did not get completely rolled over. And I know that doesn't say a lot, but because that is such a strong team, I think Milk's actually going to be a pretty solid contender at the very least for the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, just because they get smashed by potentially the number one team doesn't mean like the number three teams all of a sudden is going to beat them. I mean, we've seen that many times in many other leagues as well. So just because, I mean, MMA math. Have you ever heard of MMA math before, Toki?
I have not.
So MMA math is this fallacious idea where one fighter beats another fighter, so that automatically means that they can beat a third fighter,
Oh,
which is just
yeah.
never true. It's just never true. So the circles suck. MMA math, it doesn't always work out like that. So what you're saying, what you're setting up here, Tokibi, is that we have an exciting game for our audience here today.
Yeah, 100%. This should be a huge battle because, again, Damocles, they're a team that was definitely, they weren't expected to be the worst, definitely not. And Cupid, whether or not they were going to be the strongest team, whether or not they were going to be middle of the pack, because I have seen some disagreements there based on who's saying it. This was a team that they weren't expected to beat in the first round, and they did. But Milk at the same time, because like I saw them on Tuesday, Fights and Kites specifically, their mid laner Nady Carry, who, by the way, for anyone who's a Slayer fan, Kites is Slayer's younger brother, by the way. Just a little fun fact for everyone. Yeah, but that. They play extremely well, and they know their conditions. They know how to play around their carries. So this is a team that not only has very strong hands potentials, this is also a team that knows how to utilize them. So, but with that being said, we're in the draft, and we're already starting to go through pretty quickly, actually. We got the Jinx and Karma ban on Milk Esports, and we also have the Zac so far being the first ban from Damocles, as well as the Tristana.
Yeah, so Desperado's taking out the Tristana, very safe AD carry, really strong in lane. So as a ban, I target ban it for sure, no problem with that. Set, it's funny, I really, really dislike Set in a competitive game, but there's just some times where the enemy top laner, they're just too good at it. Don't give them their champions. As Volibear, very strong dueling jungler, especially in the AP form, getting removed here. Most of the time you want to first pick a jungler, and it looks like J4 is going to be that jungler. Wukong is up, not as good as before, but still a very strong jungler counter.
We'll be able to set up plays later on, and there's still going to be Orianna available. This is what Fights played on Tuesday. I think they did this exact combo, actually. So I wouldn't be surprised if that is going to be their lock-in for one of the second or third picks here. But we're going to see the Trundle locked in first, and the Smolder. This is a very, very early Smolder, and I don't think he's quite as meta as he used to be.
Yeah, but yeah, I agree. But Smolder's like kind of one of the better champions versus J4. He can just flap over the Cataclysm. So, of course, preferred. The Rumble going to be taken here. Now, if they pick Orianna or Galio, this is a very strong duo. Optionally, you could go Yone, but not as good. But Orianna or Galio would be an excellent team fighting core just already. They don't want to first pick mid. Kind of interesting because I think mid is just super open to first pick, but they want to get that MF counter into Smolder, which also makes a lot of sense because MF just super strong in the lane, Smolder super weak.
Yeah, and they're even setting up a bit of a wombo combo for themselves now. I'm wondering if they're gonna want to ban away something like the Braum or the Mel, or just anything that's going to make this massive AoE kind of backfire against them, because they have the Cataclysm, they're gonna have the Equalizer, obviously they're gonna have the bullet time as well. So will be interesting to see what they decide to do with that, but they're gonna ban away the Bard instead. Now, I think the Bard can interrupt the MF pretty easily, so it does kind of work towards what I was saying, but I think for the most part, they're probably just trying to get rid of a strong roamer, because Smolder can definitely play weak side.
Yeah, you could also have the very cheeky Smolder swap top level 1, play that for a couple of minutes, and then have your support come up later. They can pick Braum, but there is a bit of a problem with picking Braum, and it's that if you pick Braum right here, your lane is going to suck. It's going to be absolutely terrible. So they pick Rel instead. If you pick Braum and they pick an Enchanter, if they pick Nico, Misfortune Nico is still very strong, your lane's over. And then Smolder's never going to scale. So they're going to pick something else. And now the response. Do they counter? They eventually get their Orianna, very strong wombo. But do they want to go something that's going to scale later in the team fights? Or do they want to just take the lane win right now with something like a Nico pick? Okay, they're going to go for scaling. Nautilus, you just press R on the Smolder, and then you just send all the rest of the abilities down the line.
Yeah, now one thing I will say, and again, I'm going to be talking about that game on Tuesday. I know not everyone here has seen it, but they built a similar composition, but they went triple tank. They did not have the damage threat from the top lane. And I think that's going to make the big difference, because they definitely lacked damage once they got into those team fights. I think this time around, they saw their little issue, and they will definitely be able to fix, because this is a very, very strong team fighting composition coming out from Milk Esports. But Talia, final pick there, and I'm a little bit interested about that one, because there aren't too many dashes for her to really block, but I know she is a very strong control mage just on her own. Could definitely pair well with the Rel. So I'm wondering what your thoughts are on this Talia pick.
Yeah, Talia pick there is kind of sketchy, in particular because of J4 Rumble. Ultimate, the Cataclysm from J4 is not stoppable. It's an unstoppable ability. So even if she does lay down the pebbles, you just hit that ultimate button, and then the Rumble ultimate comes over on top, and you get the nice oven. And there's not very much ways for Talia to escape there. So it's pretty scary. In terms of into the Orianna matchup, isolation, totally fine. You're going to get pressure. You're going to be able to also play side lane and ult to a potential team fight for a victory. But because J4 is in this game, this is actually not a very safe Talia pick.
No, definitely not. And especially in the early game, I'm wondering if they're going to try to make some plays towards mid. Dark Lord 70 definitely was one of the main playmakers on Milk Esports. They love to set up fights specifically. And especially with this J4 Orianna combo, I kind of, like everyone knows, like J4 Orianna, they have very good natural synergy. Just throw command protect onto the J4, do whatever you want after that. You're going to land your damage. That's just the way it is. So it's definitely going to be a little bit difficult for Kamsi Kamsa, but either way, we're going to see how it is going to work out, because we are now heading into game number 1 of this best of 3 between Damocles and Milk Esports. So should be a pretty close one, but Desperado, they're immediately going to be walking into the brush, and looks like they want to get this early ward, but Imto not going to be jumped on, just going to dredge line out to safety, but they will get a pretty deep ward.
You have to be pretty careful. Nautilus plus Misfortune was actually quite potent early, and they cannot really take that fight right now. Looks like they're not going to do the swap for Smolder up in the top lane. It is a Rumble, so not ideal swap conditions. So we'll see. And they also get first in a bot lane, so I think that's going to help out their lane quite a bit.
Yeah, and right now we're seeing a little bit of first priority coming in for Kamsi Kamsa right now towards the mid lane, but without the minion spawning doesn't really amount to much. Yeah, but we are seeing both junglers, they are going to be starting over in this bottom side. Now, do you expect any early ganks to come through?
If anything, level 2 jank gank from Jarvan should work out pretty well. You could send that bot or mid lane. Bot is pretty good at conditions, because you actually have the Nautilus hook to really start that up and make a very potent early gank. But that's a nice trade. But I mean, I really think what they should do as Dark Lord farm up.
The dredge line is going to be there. It's just going to be a decent trade, though. Nola and Dino already going to be
I don't think
down half
anyone's...
HP.
yeah, no one's going to be all-inning just yet. But yeah, if they get Dark Lord to level 6 super fast, hold up, level 1.
But a second red line, that's going to be the heal and the ignite kind of burned from both of these two supports. But this Rel is really starting to get bullied out in this lane. Kites should have a pretty free time farming from here on out.
Yeah, I mean, the MF passive plus the Q proc is so much early game damage, and they're utilizing it perfectly. And this is why Smolder has a tough time into this champion here. But anyway, trying to say this for the 3rd time in a row, as that hook is going to miss. Get your J4-6, and then once that happens, all the team fights are unlocked for your team. Should be able to win all of those if there is no flashes up. So I think that's their key point of victory here, is the level 6 on the J4.
And we'll see when they do decide to utilize that. Now, right now we're seeing both junglers, they are passing towards the top side, but we're even seeing a little bit of a vision check coming in right now. Bay Arbor Baser and Kamsa, they did both come in just to ward both exits out of the jungle on the top side. But now Dredgeline is going to land onto Lost Zero. Decent amount of damage, but again, might not have enough for the last hit. But Kites and Imtuo, they're just non-stop with this aggression. They know they have the stronger lane, so they're just going to continue this bullying.
Yeah, and the junglers have passed away, so there is no help coming. Flash
hook!
But
then the flash Dredgeline, one more auto's needed, and Imtuo going to be the one to secure it. First blood going over to Milk Esports.
Yeah, Imtuo getting the kill, though, does suck, but that is first blood, and it is going over to Milk Esports. Very nicely done. I like the way they played it, too. Trades were on point, and the flash hook for the kill, unfortunately, does not go into Kites, but still is a good look.
Yeah, but now Loose Cannon already on the top side will throw the pillar down, but even with the Darkened Blade not going to go to chase, take a lot of damage under turret. If one more turret shot went through, that would be the end of Loose Cannon, but this is a very bad wave for insert best name, but at the very least, they do have their teleport.
Yeah, they're just getting TP. Aatrox, I can't imagine Aatrox freezing the wave, but that is a good sign to be up a TP here, still pretty healthy. The roam over Kamsa is also going to be caught at the same time. So the wave has been caught. Going to just be a TP in the mid lane as well.
Yeah, and we saw that ward. It did manage to see M2O. So Bay Harbor Baser is aware that there's going to be the Nautilus up here, but M2O also not really hiding it either. Just going to come up top, make sure that insert best name is safe, and make sure that this wave can be pushed in. So the Rumble will be in a little bit less danger here.
That is quite the big wave. I think they would have loved to dive on it, but unfortunately, jungle on the bot side of the map here. So early skirmish would be to the detriment of Milky Sports, in my opinion here. The power of the Trundle pre-6 is just too much. Even with the nerfs, that bite with the AD reduction just does so much in a skirmish. Don't think they should fight for this, but they are at least waiting for M2O.
Yeah, but this is also the Cloud Dragon, the strongest dragon when it comes to trying to tank it, and they're actually just going to bully them away and pull it themselves. Yep. Kamsa gonna be recalling, so without any real fight, they're just gonna be able to take this for themselves on Milk Esports. First dragon of the game gonna be going over to them as well, so very strong start so far from Milk.
I didn't notice, but Kamsa did not TP back to lane as I thought they were. And that meant that no mana, hold up, all in coming from the area
is going to be popping, but insert best name dodging out quite well. And that should be the end. I think Bay Harbor Baser was just trying to use that level 6 timer. As in the bot lane, Law Zero is forced to flash and the heal from Nolandino. So it looks like another kill attempt coming in from the bot lane. And this isn't something we've talked about yet, but what are your thoughts on Electrocute coming in for the Aatrox?
Yeah, Electrocute's just for the better lane trades, but I mean, I guess the team fights are going to be pretty rough anyway. Side laning should be easier, but Rumble is just so good against melees. I mean, if you do what you have to do to survive the lane, maybe I think a Grasp would have been better for that purpose, but we'll see what they have in store for us. Maybe they're going lethality, some kind of high damage build, I don't know.
Yeah, but Equalizer just gonna get used to break this freeze here. I think insert best name did sniff out this gang coming through from Bay Harbor Baser, but Dark Lord could be in a dangerous spot now. The flag has already been thrown out, so it's just going to be fighting against Kamsa. Will use the Cataclysm. M2O is here, but they're just gonna flash out, and they could turn back in. But right now, the Command Protect still going to be on the Jarvan, and one final auto. Dark Lord 7 going to get the kill on Loose Cannon.
Oh.
And almost the Shockwave going to be there to prevent that Weaver's Wall from letting Kamsi get to safety. But at the end of the day, it's another kill going over to Milk Esports.
And that's the problem with the Cataclysm. J4 doesn't have to be in the Cataclysm. Just get EQ out, and then you are a sitting duck, a fish in a barrel for the rest of the team to lay down the DPS. And that is exactly what happened to Loose Cannon there, especially without the flash. And this is where I'm starting to worry for Desperado, because Smolder lane not going so well. I mean, up in pretty decent farm, though, I have to give credit over to Lost Hero, but the rest of the game might be over.
Devil World Ender coming through, and Imto taking a lot of damage. One final auto is going to be enough, and the flash crash down is going to get flashed away by Kites as well. And Kites should be able to get back to safety, but that is going to be the first kill of the game coming in for Desperado. So they are getting back on the board. They're getting something for themselves, and the kill did go over to Bay Harbor Baser, so definitely could have been worse.
Is a bit of an understatement there. That could have gone terribly for Milk Esports as well. Looks like Loose Cannon does have the vision advantage as well. No Cataclysm for a couple more seconds. Do they know?
Imto not going to check the brush yet. Oh, no way. Okay.
Do they
have
know?
no idea the Trundle's here. But can they do anything about it? Loose Cannon is going to be approaching from behind. They do have sun vision. Kites is low mana as well. So is Fights. But they still don't have the number. So two of the grubs definitely going to be going over to Milk Esports. But what about the fight? The Dredge line does that, but in the back line, Loose Cannon just starting to run down Fights. But Fights just going to be able to flash away. And now Lost Zero's going to be here and start chopping up on everyone. All the Super Scorcher is going to be getting kills as M2O just gives up on life. And that is going to be the Fates of Warfare going towards Desperado. And that's 2 kills going to Lost Zero. That's their Hyperscaler.
Yeah, that is really good. Look now, all of a sudden the game just flips on its head. And I was really worried for Desperado there, because they didn't actually have that many ultimates up. As that looks like that wave does get pushed in. I mean, it does come the cost of at least 2 waves here. You can see the CS difference in the top laners. There is actually, that is a 3-wave difference if we're going to go ahead and count it all up there. And I mean, so they do get something out of it, and they do get the 3 grubs at the end of the day here, TokiB. So 3 kills, or 2 kills for the grubs. Kind of close.
Oh, but now Imto looking for the Dredge line, and as usual, lands it. But there is going to be the flash coming out of Kamsi. So now they're looking to turn it right back. But the Rel is just too tanky for them. They're not going to have enough damage unless another Dredge line is going to be able to come through. And so far, not going to be there, and they're just going to back away for now. So no kills coming in here, but another close look for them.
That is a flash burn, I believe. So they do get the flash and slivers of HP. A minor escape. Come see, come saw. But have to put some respect on this MF Nautilus duo here, because they're not afraid of anyone right now. Bloodthirster almost purchased. Just a couple more waves, and that should be a very strong MF.
Yeah, I mean, this Misfortune, only 002 right now, but almost has that fully completed Bloodthirster. Should really be online soon. And once a Bloodthirster's on, she's going to be very safe, because there's not too much backline dive potential. There's not too much wombo combo coming in from Desperado. So if she's able to keep the range, if she's going to be able to continue just getting that bullet time out over top of everyone, Kites in general should just be having a very good time this game.
Yeah, I mean, then it's also hard to move the MF from mid lane. Even if you lay down the poke, wave comes in, MF is going to peel off.
But now another fight crashed down into the Magma Storm coming through over top. And Lost Zero just going to be able to run everyone down. But it's actually 1-for-1 so far. Kite's going to be able to take down Harvard Baser. And I'm not sure how that happened, because I thought that was definitely going to be going the way of Desperado.
Well, the unseen J4 on the side there. They did hold their ultimates, though, on the side of Milk. So I think they're trying to save for the potential dragon fight. I don't know if they should have just sent it all there. Wait a minute, Kites?
Yeah.
They can get over the wall.
Kite's just going to be able to back away. Shattering Strike, not going to be able to get the stun. But like you said, the dragon is now going to be up, so both teams going to start posturing. But we haven't really looked towards the bot lane in a while, but Fights almost fully taking down this tier 1 turret in the bot lane. This could be a very big power point for them, because if they get the dragon and they get that turret, that's going to be the piece of strength for them. Now, obviously it doesn't do too much early, but it will give them scaling. And it looks like Desperado, they're not even going to contest this, so that's going to be feats of monster slaying going the way of Milk Esports.
You can see Bay Harbor Baser were already coming to the TP, so they were not coming to that dragon. 2 dragons against a Smolder comp is exactly where you want to be at this point in the time. So they're on track for a victory. However, the goal difference is pretty close. So I'm sure that they're going to be a little bit more comfortable with, you know, more plays, more turrets being made on the map here. Oh, that was just found.
Not gonna get knocked up so far, but Fights gonna get knocked away. But Cataclysm is going to be there, and there's no flash, so Fights just gonna be able to secure that kill. And kind of like you were saying, the Cataclysm is just so good in the Talia.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't stop it. Even the pebbles just don't do anything, and then once you're in there with the Orianna combos, it's just lights out. They didn't even have to use the shockwave either. As you can see here, we have the Eclipse build on this J4. So they're going to be looking to win these fights in an instant. They're not going to try to fight it. You know, they're going to just go for that wombo, get the burst damage down with the J4, Ori, and the MF, and just send them packing. And we'll have to see, because right now, Desperado, everyone is looking pretty vulnerable.
Yeah, but right now they're trying to make a play over on the top side. World Ender is going to pop, and they will be able to get the flash. So that's all they're going to be able to get. It's her best name, not even losing that much HP.
Yeah, another flash being burnt up on the top side, but does that lead to a kill? They're going to have to set that up again and cash in on their earlier play. But, I mean, trying to get a kill against the Rumble is not easy.
No, definitely not. And now over in the mid lane, let's just take a quick look over at the CS, because who has another Dread line almost lands from Imto. I don't think Imto even cares who it lands on, as long as it lands. But we're seeing a 10
They're probably
CS
saying any hook is winning is probably what's going on there.
Yeah.
Any hook is winning, just hit someone and we're going to get the damage. And I believe they're correct on that one. With the Bloodthirster being completed, that is very much the way they want to play.
Yeah, but there's going to be a gold injection coming soon to Lost Zero. The Archangel staff is still pretty far away from both of these two mid laners for fights and Kamsa, or by that I mean like for the transformation to the Seraphs. But that does show that there is going to be the scaling element starting to come through for Desperado. So it's not like they're completely out of the game yet. I think they might have wanted a little bit more from the Trundle earlier on, but
wait a minute.
Imto is going to be flashing over, and they're just going to burn everything. And Loose Cannon's going to go down. Imto secures that kill, but at the end of the day, they're just happy to get the kill.
Yeah, the roam down for Imto, and I mean, it was a 2v3, but not at that moment, as they just caught Loose Cannon going for unadvised waves. Unfortunately, the Imto curse of picking up the kill is still continuing on, unfortunately.
Yeah, but it does give the team a locket. So it's not like the gold's not going anywhere to the team. It's just not going to be going straight into the damage for those hyper carries. But we're seeing right now they're still able to get the priority on the map. They're going to be able to get the Rift Herald up here. Just 100% control of these objectives coming in from Milk Esports so far this game. But I'm wondering how the team fights are going to go through later, because so far we haven't had a full 5v5 yet.
I'm wondering, I mean, I guess Locket's fine, but like Redemption definitely is better for the team fight that they're trying to go for, right? Throw down your ultimate, throw down the Redemption for that extra damage boost at the same time, because, I mean, it does look like that is a very good item regardless. 100 stacks on the Smolder, as we have production showing us there. I mean, it's not amazing. Definitely a bit slow. But, I mean, Smolder just needs, what, 125 more stacks for that passive. So, it's definitely in reach.
Yeah, and those stacks do start appearing faster as the game goes on. Especially once that 125 is hit.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to get just that little bit of extra poke during these fights, even sometimes while farming. Not everyone always pays attention to the backblast there, so Hopefully that will be there for Law Zero, because they're definitely going to want more stacks. They need to have this to execute as soon as possible with the way these teamfights are going. But now, teamfight getting set up.
There's
Line is going to land. And now over top of everything, bullet time. But so far, no one's going to be going down yet. But in the backline, they're going to be looking for one. They're going to be looking for two, and they're going to get them all. But they have lost Imto. It is still 3v4. And now with the Rumble here, just spitting fire everywhere. The World Ender is popped, but it's not going to be enough. Bay Harbor Baser gonna be going down as well, and it's a 3-for-1 going the way of Milk Esports.
Bay Harbor Baser was able to get a lot of damage down and was frontlining quite a bit. Unfortunately, was not the right time there, Toki B, because the team fight was already over. The Cataclysm comboed with the Misfortune. We already talked about how strong that is, how you could win a team fight off that, and it was exactly the engage you wanted to see from Milk. And after that happened, I mean, that team fight is just so hard to come back into. Not to mention, Fights was able to just find Kempsey on the side of the fight with the Shockwave, chunking 90% of their HP.
Yeah, but now Inter Best Name doesn't have Flash yet. It is very close, but they're going to throw down the Weaver's Wall. They're going to throw down a lot, but Dark Lord Zero is also going to be here as well. But Kempsey Kamsat going to get the kill first. Loose Cannon still going to be fine. Dark Lord trying to fight this 1v2, but Imto and Kites are on the way. Seismic Shove will keep Loose Cannon alive, so at the very least saves a friend, but Kempsey Kamsat is just going to be going down, and Kites is on a killing spree.
Oh, Kites walking over, strutting over. Sorry, I didn't correct that. Looks like they're going to TP Oriana mid lane as well to catch this wave so they don't get a turret. This is going to leave open their bot side, so Bay Harbor Baser should be able to get the turret in trade. Unfortunately, though, because of this Rift Herald, they're going to have to make some defenses. A tier 2 would be absolutely amazing for them if they do pick this up.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that pillar not
going
to get on the right side, but now the crash down wasn't able to interrupt. Mom going out over the top, though, and Lost Zero just free hitting onto everyone. Dark Lord trying to take down Loose Cannon, but Loose Cannon just flashing away. Will eventually be able to get that kill with the Dragon Strike, but that's a 3-for-1 going the other way. But unfortunately, there is no objective for Desperado to claim.
That was a bit overambitious from the side of Milk Esports to go for that fight right there, especially since they had no eyes on Bay Harbor Baser, who had found an excellent flank onto Kites and basically put a stop to that team fight for the side of Desperado. So they do lose their MF. I believe a bounty went over, if I am not correct. And so that is an unfortunate act of over-aggression from Milk Esports. But of course, I mean, just look at the game state here. 3 dragons to none against a Smolder comp. This is on track yet again for picking up the victory. They may have had a bit of a misstep, but they're still in a decent position here.
Yeah, and it is going to be the Hextech Soul as well. So difficult for them to deal with, especially with this press start to win comp that Milk Esports has been building for themselves, the one that they've drafted for themselves. But again, Lost Zero, 3-0-4. Now, the stacks haven't been super high, but this Smolder may yet become an absolute menace. So Milk Esports, even with this lead, they're definitely in control right now, but they're also definitely on a timer.
Yeah, the timer is ticking. They bought themselves plenty of time, though, as we have Otacon spawn and Vision wards coming down. Smolder on 2 items as well, so
155
stacks is counting up. I think they actually are going to have at least 2 more fights, Toki, before the Smolder passive comes into effect, and that might be all they need to pick up the victory on the side of Milk Esports. But if anything else goes wrong, Desperado are going to have a real chance with the scaling Smolder in this game.
Yeah, and with the Dragon coming up in a minute and a half, they're definitely not going to have the execute. They're not going to be anywhere near the execute for this next Dragon fight. So if Milk Esports are able to get it, and actually Dark Lord looking for the play onto Lost Zero, but not going to do the drag, just going to do the flag. But they do have mid priority for now, and they're starting to walk in towards this bottom river. However, it looks like they want to do a reset before they start fighting for Vision.
Refreshing wards onto the Nautilus, plus red wards being purchased, or pink, actually. They are going to lose power in mid lane, though, so first move is going to go over to Desperado, and they're going to move in I think that they're going to go ahead and take their chances with the fight on this one. Because if they win this, they're going to be able to extend the game quite a bit. That's going to give more time for Lost Zero. Get stacks on the Smolder. Oh, they're honing in. This is turret diveable. Tier 1 doesn't do that much.
Yeah, but at the same time, they know the rest of Milk
I can't get caught in
Esports
the
is
thermal.
nearby. And it looks like they're aware. The Rumble's just going to stay further back, not going to step out towards any danger at all, as the trench line on the top of your screen does barely go wide, but instead they're going to look to go back onto Imto, but that's not the target you want, and Imto's going to go right back, hit a bullet time over top cap, Shockwave, the entire kitchen sink used, and it's going to be 2-0 so far, but now the equalizer over top will force out the flash, and now the World Ender is in the backline, but you're alone versus 5. Almost gets a kill on him to out of it, but the Harbor Baser is going to go down. It's going to be a 3-0, and that should be the soul going the way of Milk Esports.
Milky B, they keep walking straight into the Cataclysm combo, and they're not getting out alive multiple times, just perfectly layered. And the Shockwave there was the ender. Fight's doing so much damage on the end of that. But unfortunately, I mean, they can't really time the fight on the side of Desperado. Yes, they have the flanking Aatrox, but it's just never happening at the right moment. And guess what? The press R comp is just so much easier to execute, and now they have a massive lead.
Yeah, I mean, almost 5k gold lead. The soul, and again, it's not just any soul, it's the Hextech soul, and especially on a press R to win composition, it does so much. It takes so much more time to get out of the bullet time, to get out of the equalizer, or to get into a position to cancel the bullet time. And with that, they should just be able to continue pushing forward. Dark Lord 70 is going to flag and drag, and they're just going to auto down the mid tier 1, and they're just going to start working their way across the map. With the lead they have, they can definitely be confident.
Yeah, Otacon on the table. Just need to push Desperado out of their own jungle here. And there's just no way for them to walk up at this point. I mean, if anyone's in Cataclysm range, you can just say goodbye to them.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's exactly what Dark Lord 70 is going to be trying to do. But they're starting to group towards the top side. They're going to send 3 members there. The tier 2 on the top side is quite low, but doesn't look like they're ready for this yet. Instead, they're just going to be setting up the vision for the Otacon and just gearing up for this next fight. All of their ultimates are available, so they're just going to pull this Otacon. Let's see if Desperado can even fight this.
Why are they not committing here? Looks like they're going to catch one more wave mid. They do get 2 blue trinkets out. And that is it. No more vision for the side of Desperado. I'm just gonna... Okay, they're not gonna reset. I'm wondering why they're resetting. I mean, they're literally getting a turret for free on the other side of the map. So they should definitely keep their attention up here. As Fights does have TP. Oh, they're trying to bait with the ward.
They're on
By
division.
not clearing it, they're baiting it so hard.
And now Loose Cannon is going to be getting jumped upon, and they didn't really use too much. It's just going to be the Death Charge and the Flag and Drag. And just like that, the jungler, the Smite of Desperado, is going to be gone. And now this time around, they will pull this Otacon. And I don't think there's any way Desperado can stop him. But Lost Zero at least will trade for the mid tier 1.
They can get this. That is a nice consolatory prize.
Oh, they won't even get it.
And, yep, they're not even going to get it. Just very sad dragon there.
225 stacks, though. Lost Zero just got it.
There you go. It might not be enough. Oh, they're catching them. They don't realize the Baron is being done. They were gone way too long, and now they're giving over double objectives. Oh, that is such a disaster. They definitely were not intending to give the Baron.
Yeah, I think they just thought the Otacon was going to be there. They wanted to grab that for themselves, but yeah, the Baron, they realized that, hey, Lost Zero was in the mid lane and path towards the bot side. Loose Cannon is still down. Why not just get both? They lose a tier 1 in the bot lane, but it's not that big of a play. But now they're just going to have Baron. They're going to have Soul. They have the Otacon. They have every single buff. 100% of objectives this game. And now comes Immortal looking for the play, but
oh no!
Comes Immortal! Loose Cannon! Why would you do this to your best friend, I assume? But that's just going to be a free kill going over to Milk Esports. The blast code just completely kills Kamsa, and you know they're not going to be happy about that.
Not like this, man. At least go out in a team fight. terrible way to lose a game. Now, are they're not even going to want to toss it up at the Elder. It looks like they're just going to go for the throat right now. They have the Shockwave. Cataclysm's not up, but that might just be enough to win.
Yeah, but instead they're going to go in and
the
they have
combo.
the Shockwave combo over top. Law Zero still going to be going down, but Bay Harbor Baser was dealing so much damage in the backline. But again, it was just Bay Harbor Baser. The rest of the team going to be going down, and with that final ace, Milk Esports, with a resounding victory, are going to take game number 1.
And that is a very solid victory. They had only a couple mistakes throughout, but what else could you ask for? Clean victory with 4 dragons into Otacon, into the Baron straight away, just knocking down those objectives. And they are going to be able to pick up a win quickly after as well. So they're able to close it out. And I have to say, draft on point, team fights on point, gameplay on point. Milk Esports looking like they're just the better team straight out of the gate.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to be able to continue with this push. Now, we are going to head to a short break, but before we do, I did look at the replay, and actually, it was Kemsi Kamsad that hit the blast cone themselves. So, Loose Cannon, I apologize for the slander. I take it all back. They don't need to get angry at each other quite yet, but either way, with that, game 1, we are going to be going to a short break, and when we come back, we're going to be heading straight into draft for game number 2. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon.
550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal.
Hello, and welcome back, everyone, for game number 2 between Milk Esports and Desperado Esports Damocles. Now, it is 1-0 right now for Milk Esports, and they had a pretty strong showing, but for game number 2, what do you think they need to do on the side of Desperado to get back into this?
I was about to say, I think Milky Sports doesn't need any assistance on this one. They're all ready to go. This is kind of, I mean, if you want to just take a look at the draft, obviously you could pick something that's a little bit easier. The Talia pick at the end kind of makes it a bit rough. I'm not a fan of the Trundle into the J4. Everyone knows the Wukong's pretty standard. Or if you really want, you go Poppy, right? Those are the two options there. Don't get fancy with it. Just pick, everyone knows these combos. Everyone knows the counters. It's well known. Or if you really want to pick the Talia, you go Vi Talia. Even, I'm not sure. I don't remember if it was banned. But, you do Vi Talia. Pick the tried and true. Well, let's not get fancy. Don't have to do anything crazy. Or you could go Wukong Annie. There's so many things that they could have done where the draft would have ended up a lot better.
Yeah, and we're seeing similar bans, and it also is important to note that they are going to be staying on the same side. So Milk Esports still going to be on blue side, and they're going to be on the right side for Desperado. So, on the red side, and there is going to be a different ban coming out now, the Braum for the phase 2 for Desperado. Now, why do you think they decided to ban the Braum? Is the Ivern also going to be banned by Milk? Okay, very new draft.
Yeah, Braum is the biggest champion to pick is Nautilus. Oh, I think they want to pick Vi. No, Morgana is very interesting. Makes me think they want to pick Vi. We'll see what they end up picking on their counter pick here. So, Corky's still up. Oh my gosh, dude. I'm a genius. Anyway,
yep.
Corky's still up. I called the jungle first time. Now Corky's here. Corky's not very easily countered, so you kind of just got to pick your poison. Either you try to match the scale, maybe pick something like Lucian or Jhin, try to knock it out early. The key there is the range, and now they need a little bit of setup. Leona is not the greatest into Corky, but if it's absolutely necessary, if you don't have anything else, you can pick something like Leona. Alistar can get on top of the Corky, anything like that.
Yep, they are going to take the Cinder right now for Come See, Come Saw. And interestingly enough, for this Corky, I believe both Fights and Kites play it, though. As I say that, this way almost definitely going to be going into the mid lane towards Fights. Is a mage that we have seen in the bot lane in patches previous to this. I don't think we've seen it too often in the current meta. And the Jhin Zhao going to be the final pick for the first phase. So they've kind of already shown a lot of their damage stats coming out from Milk Esports. So wondering what they're going to do for phase 2.
I mean, look, it's pretty solid. You got two really strong backline damage dealers. And you have Zen, who's going to provide lots of space with the ultimate. And if you are fighting front to back, is very hard to sink your damage into, especially with far range champions like Syndra and the Jhin. Mbessa going to be picked, and they can ban away counters like the Renekton or the Camille. Camille would be really good, so that's a nice ban for them. Renekton's also a pretty standard ban into the Mbessa, but not strictly necessary. Mbessa definitely can play around it.
Yeah, so it looks like they're just going to be putting all of their eggs into the Bay Harbor base or basket right now, at least for the second phase of bans, because they're not going to be banning away anything else, just those top laners, just those hard counters to the Mbessa, which is typically the advantage of being able to have that third pick as well for the first phase, as we are going to be seeing the Bard and the Wukong banned away on the side of Milk.
The best champion, objectively, for Milk right now is Ornn. You just pick Ornn, and your team comp's amazing. You have Hui, Ornn. You can engage on anyone in the backline, super easy. They do end up going to Leona. They're going to go Poppy for a bit of peel, okay? But if they lock in Ornn here, they're a banger draft again if they do pick that up.
Yeah, and that very well could be Imtuo on there.
They can't do that. Already picked. A legal move.
I do believe we do have full Fearless, so I'm not sure about that Nautilus pick for M2O. I guess we'll hear about that in a second there. But, Cassante. Okay, so just the wrong one loaded in. We're all good. So it is going to be Imtuo playing the Poppy and the Cassante going into the top side for insert best name. So what are your thoughts on that? It definitely isn't the Ornn, but do you think this could help as well?
I really hate the Cassante pick here. I really think they need a far engaged champion. And if you look at their comp now, I mean, Xin is a very long range engage, but it's only on like one target, really. Not something that's going to win you the team fight. And I mean, Maokai is going to be able to peel off all of these champions, by the way. So I really hate the Cassante pick. Again, I wanted something with more engage. Like maybe, screw it, pick the Malphite. I don't care. Something that's going to get in there for your team to wreak havoc. So not a big fan of that. I think the Maokai pick is a pretty good counter pick. Is able to kite away from the Xin with the Q. So I do like the Maokai pick at the end here. Who do I give the draft to? It's really rough because if Quirky Hui get really strong, then it's pretty hard to stop Milk Esports. But then if Syndra Jin is really strong, it's kind of also the reverse. It's kind of a game of like which carries are going to carry harder. I do have to say the Leona into the Hui is a very good engage angle that Dorado have. So they have the better engage with the Leona and the Maokai. It's all about how they play around that.
And it'll be interesting to see if they do find these angles. I mean, they also are going to have public execution coming out from the Abessa. Could definitely help them reach the backline. But one possible concern I can see right now is you have the Hui, you have the Corki. The poke coming out from Milk Esports is going to be so scary. And while they do have some strong engagers, there also is going to be the Poppy that's gonna be grounding them on the way. So do you think that kind of makes it a bit more favored for Milk Esports, assuming it is the 5v5?
So yeah, if that is always going to be a worry in the late game scaling, but they have enough long range engage. They got the Jin. They have the Jin ultimate if they really need it. Leona ult is also far range, and then Maokai ultimate as well. So if they do get very strong, they have tools, they have options. It's kind of what's keeping them in this game. If they didn't have the Maokai or the Leona or the Mbessa public execution, then they're going to be in trouble, but they have answers. So I think that it's possible for Milk to outplay if they dodge all these skills, have cleanses in the right spot, then yeah, of course they're going to win. But at the end of the day, there is tools.
And with that, we are getting started on this game number 2 now between Milk Esports and Desperado. Milk trying to go 2-0 here, have their first complete victory, but looks like we're gonna start with a fight right away. Loose cannon is in the area, but neither side's going to engage, so it's just gonna be a bit of poke down going both ways. But Nolandino also not gonna be getting engaged upon. Both teams getting so close, but no one wants to make that first absolute permanent engage.
No one wants to make the decision of going in and engaging there. It would just be the Leona Zenith Blade. Not much of an engage, but still engage nonetheless.
Yeah, and it is going to be first strike. So yeah, 13 gold. Gonna be going the way of Kemsi Kamsa. A pinged ward coming in for fights as well. So that little advantage is going to be evened out ever so slightly. But looking over at the vision on the map as well, so there is going to be a ward on both of the junglers' raptor camps. So both sides will have at least some knowledge of where the jungler is at. But with that, which lane do you expect to see kind of prioritized by both of these two junglers?
That is an interesting question. I think Zen would probably like to be ganking mid lane the most. After that, obviously picking up Lost Zero would not be a bad option. Meanwhile, on the top side, Cassante and Mbessa, I think most of these teams would be leaving the top side alone, only relevant during objectives.
Yeah, but now they're going to be fighting a little bit back and forth here. And it looks like Kites and Imto, they just want to continue being super aggressive here in the bot lane. But this time around, the trade has definitely been more even. Level 2, though, and now they're immediately going to jump in. Will force the flash coming out of Nolandino, but not going to be able to get the kill. And again, they're just so aggro on Milk Esports.
It's a bit unfortunate, too, because as you can see, Kites has the cleanse. Leona just makes the enemy AD carry go cleanse. That's just how it works. Which means that they do have the barrier advantage. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to leverage that because Landino might have already been too poked out in this lane.
Yeah, and that's something we do see a lot in these bottom lanes. Whenever you have the engaged support, it's sometimes smart to just completely bully them out early. Because if they don't have HP, they can't do anything. They're basically just there to look pretty, maybe provide a little bit of support for the AD carry, but they're not going to be able to be the aggressors that they typically want to be. But either way, right now, we are seeing something interesting here because Dark Lord 70 gonna be farming out that top side, but they do have the ward as Nolandino actually gonna be able to find M2 but the Deadly Flourish not gonna land. But they're turning on to Kite's flash forward, not gonna be enough. So flash for flash going out of the 280 carries. But this time around, Desperado, they're on the winning end of that trade.
Yeah, Kite barely got out of there. Level 3 to level 2, gotta respect. And this is gonna be a lot of minions being sent down the drain here. Doesn't really matter that M2O is going to get them. They need it onto their Corki. And that is a great look. As you can see there, the Jhin is capable of fighting back against the Corki in the early lane phases. Of course, they also knew Dark Lord was topside because of the beautiful ward set earlier by, I believe it was MC Kamsa. So, teamwork.
Yeah, and we've been seeing this game that Desperado's really good at tracking Dark Lord. They have those wards, especially on the top side, both games in a row now. As both these two top siders are really starting to dish it out. But level 4 only on Bay Harbor base right now. Insert best name still looking to trade forward. And they're both just fighting this out. And now the Pathfinder's going to come through. And Insert best name just needs one auto. Ooh. And that is going to be first blood going over to Insert best name. Gonna try to recall, but Loose Cannon is in the area. There is a ward in that jungle, or there was a ward in that brush, and flash forward, and that's just going to be the Bramble Smash for the kill. So trade of 1-for-1 in the end.
That is gonna be a nice little boost to Loose Cannon there to get level 6. Get some gold in their pocket.
Yeah, but now, oh, they're gonna land the Deadly Flourish onto Kites, the Valkyrie away. And Steadfast Presence is going to keep Nolandino from following up, but M2O will take a little bit of damage on the way out. And again, Dark Lord 70 is going to be here, but will get spotted out by the ward. So we'll be able to give pressure, but won't be able to get that kill coming in the bot lane.
I don't think that's going to be a kill. We'll see if they can set up a freeze, but honestly, super hard for Kites right now. No sums, no barrier, just a Doran's Blade, Tears, and a Dream. In mid lane, though, looks like these mid laners are about to hit level 6. And that means that there's going to be a lot more kill angles, especially for the Syndra with the Maokai.
Oh, but now they're going to be looking to go in, but again, Steadfast Presence. Just keeping M2O alive there. I think that Zenith Blade lands, M2O just dies.
Yeah, definitely stun would also lead into a snare from 0 into a potential 4th shot finisher here. So definitely, but I mean, playing confidently, realizing Zenith Blade doesn't land, gonna be pretty safe overall here. Loose Cannon almost level 6. That's kind of what I'm keying into right now. Landino, do you have it?
Now they're not going to be going in quite yet, but they have full
level
control
6?
of this wave. Loose Cannon, yeah, level 6, and they're going to look towards M2O. Deadly Flourish going to get dodged away, but Kites will get caught out in the Nature's Grasp, but they're just going to turn their attention onto M2O, and that's going to be a kill going the way of Lost Zero. And it looks like Desperado, they're really going to be winning out through their bot lane this time around.
Love it from Loose Cannon there. On the level 6 pop, goes bot lane immediately, and that's what I was talking about. Kill activated, no sums on Kites as well, so could not provide much defense. Grub's going to be spawning quite soon as the dragon gets taken. A nice dragon pickup for the side of Desperado. I mean, they got a nice little gold lead as well. This game's going a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, already up 700 gold. The kills are, well, Lost Zero getting the kills definitely very good. And even Loose Cannon on the Maokai, it's not the best place for the gold to go, but we remembered game number 1, M2O definitely, let's say, secured a lot of those kills, and they were able to do just fine. And especially with Leandre's being the first item, Loose Cannon is going to be building damage for the team to start.
Yeah, Leandre's going to be very, very good. Helps with the wave clear. And once those team fights start rolling in, you'll see the Leandre's damage start stacking. Using the Valkyrie for the wave damage, and They're just going to be able to get this shoved in, no problem. Looks like they have swapped first on the side Desperado. And they might have just locked Milk out from the grubs already. Ooh,
yeah, but Bay Harbor base are going to be in a dangerous spot. Full HP, though. Has flash, has everything. And they're going to go for it. TP going to be coming through. And Kamsa will kind of lose out a little bit in the mid lane, but no kill going to be going over to Milk.
I think... I'm not sure if they had the flash timed, but there was definitely an angle for Bay Harbor Baser to go onto the Corki there. Fight's gonna get a plate in the meantime, so TP costs them.
There comes Kamsa, though. Cannot walk forward. Spiraling Despair. Gonna get flashed out, but they are gonna at the very least get the flash off of this mid laner. Could definitely look for a regank. Since her best name very low on the top side, curtains have been called there by Lost Zero. But no plates going over yet, though we do see Loose Cannon taking out the grubs in the meanwhile. Oh, but is her best name staying?
Yeah, might have been a mistake going for this wave. Definitely knows it now because the grubs have fallen. Someone coming through.
Pathmaker's going to be there. Solar Flare not going to be in time as Nolandino tries to flash away and will survive. So it is again Loose Cannon securing that kill, but that's going to be a wave lost and a kill altogether going the way of Desperado. As now they could be looking for the same play in the bot lane, but Kite's actually going to be getting jumped upon. Bay Harbor Baser forced out the flash, but Kite has no mana. Kite has no HP. And Bay Harbor Baser just needs to get a little bit closer. One more auto, and it will be enough. But Dark Lord 70 now might be able to get here in time. But again, it is going to be Ambessa flashing forward, and Dark Lord 70 going to be able to secure that kill.
Overall, though, this is going to keep Dark Lord on the bot side. Going to give extra time to Loose Cannon. Looks like they're not going to invade, but they're just going to clear towards their bot side. Big key detail, though, is they get a kill on the Kites with their top laner, which is going to help them catch up to insert best name. So, honestly, even though it's a 1-for-1, that's not the 1-for-1 that Milk was looking for.
No, definitely not, but they're going to be able to protect their pink ward here in this bot side mid brush. I'm not even sure how we call it. The line brush on the bottom side of mid.
Line brush.
Yeah, there we go.
It's the straightest brush in the history of League of Legends. Never before until this map did they just have a plain straight brush right across the river here. Ultimate from Leona on deck.
They have Solar Flare. They have Curtain Call coming up very shortly. So they could definitely start looking for plays here in this bot side. No flash available for Kites either. But there is going to be the cleanse, and Imto is in the area. So there is going to be some safety. But I'm noticing right now, especially in the top side, is her best name in Bay Harbor Baser, there's a pretty sizable CS gap starting to form. And that's even with insert best name getting dove on that play last time. So there is something going in favor of Milk Esports right now, but this game's definitely looking more in favor of Desperado than game number 1.
Definitely a better look, but it is not all green lights everywhere. I mean, Cassante does win this matchup early, and that's what they're banking on from Milk Esports here. Huge gold lead. Despite, I mean, typically you don't see Cassantes being dove, but we'll see here. 45 seconds away. Dragon coming up. Huge pivotal point if it is fought for by both these teams.
Yeah, and right now, Dark Lord 70 is on the bot side. So is M2O and Kite. So they do have their entire team in the area. And even insert best name actually going to be walking down to the bottom lane instead of looking to use that teleport. Does have the Iceborne Gauntlet, so pretty big item timing coming through. But Loose Cannon actually looking to go in, but is just going to be able to run it out. Now Nature's Grass coming out over the top. Curtain's called as well. And the Keeper's Verdict not going to be able to land in time. Subto is going to be the first to go down, but Nolandino is going to be traded. So support for now. And Wind Becomes Lightning does land. And Pathmaker forward, shut down, coming in by Dark Lord. And that's going to be another kill, 2 for 1 in favor of Milk Esports.
Still has the all out as well. TP. I mean, insert best name could just TP up and they can still pick up the dragon. Looks like that's going to be the case. Going to block getting the plates from Bay Harbor Baser, who would definitely need that to catch up in that matchup there. No dragon being taken. Dark Lord definitely wants to reset. Wait a minute. Come see, come saw.
I may have stepped out a little bit too far. Spiraling Despair is going to be there, but Unleashed Power in the back line almost taking out fights. And instead, it's going to be the public execution. Bay Harbor Base are now going to be in the fight as well. It's 1-for-1 so far. And Dark Lord 70 is trying to fight with Im2O, but they are both low. Bay Harbor Baser not going to be able to get the kill, but will be able to push them out. It's a 1-for-1. Everything's said and done.
PP up to top lane while the dragon's going down. Second dragon would be nice. Leandres has been built by loose cannon, so there should be a fast dragon as well. Lane. Some shenanigans going on. There's the TP by Syndra being committed to top side there, and that's just a win for the side of Desperado.
Yeah, Im2O gonna be forced to recall. Did look like Bay Harbor Baser did jump onto this Poppy, but that is gonna be the second dragon of the game, and it's going to be Cloud Soul. Now, Cloud Soul should be pretty good for them, as actually Come Saw could be in a very bad spot right now. Will take a little bit of poke. Wind becomes lightning glance. Just needs the audacious charge, but the flash forward is going to be there. Dark Lord again flashing forward for the kill, and now it's going to be Bay Harbor Baser. But Bay Harbor Baser decides to back away, does not want this fight. So it's another pickoff for Milk Esports.
And to answer your question, yes. With Maokai Ultimate, Wind Soul would be really good, because then it's just basically impossible to get away from that champion. As well as Leon Ultimate, Solar Flare, and then run straight at the enemy. Very difficult to deal with, especially with a team that wants a lot of space, like Fights and Kites on these two champions here. Poke and run away. That's going to be their shtick, unless someone is in front of them to get that front-to-back team fight.
And right now, Kites is going to be able to get the first turret in the bottom lane. Now, I believe the feats have already gone over to Desperado. They did get Monster Slaying and Feats of Warfare, so they do have the Feats of Strength overall. But it is something going the way of Milk Esports, and in fact, they have a 1k gold lead. It looks like bit by bit, they've just been able to come back. They've gotten more kills. As now a bit of a trade on the top side. I don't expect a full all-in from either of these two anytime soon. They'll probably poke at each other a little bit longer before then. But I'm not even sure where Milk got this, because they have a 1.2k gold lead. That is sizable. Oh, but Nature's Grab now going to be coming into the mid lane. Come is also in the area, but Fight's going to flash over for Scatter the Weak. And M2O is going to be the sacrificial lamb, and Lost Zero going to be the one to pick that kill up for Desperado.
All right. And the mystery of the gold is a turret. Bot lane Kites was able to get the first turret, so that is quite the bit of bonus that you could be expecting there. But that did go by the wayside as they picked up the kill on M2O. And it looks like they're playing for this Rift Herald here. Support kills not the most important, especially with these low death timers. So they did spend an ultimate, but guess who's back?
Yeah, they're all going to be walking up towards this Herald. Now, both mid laners are in the bot lane, and neither one has their teleports, but M2O just immediately going in, and now Lost Zero. Curtis called into the backline, but so far they're just winning out anyway. M2O will get hit by the third shot, fourth shot, going to land over top, will get dodged away, and so far it's going the way of Milk Esports. Bay Harbor Baser will get finished off, but Dark Lord Zero, sitting at no HP the entire time, will survive, and now they found Lost Zero. Pathmaker coming out over top, won't be able to chase quite yet. Scatter the Weak will land. Deadly Flourish not going to, though. And Lost Zero in a bad spot. They're looking to get the snipe over top, but the move speed just too much, especially on the cloud field. And now Kites going forward, Smiling Despair, not even needed. Kites with one final auto will take down Come Saw.
They smash the team fight again, pick up a couple kills on the back end. And now they're ready to use this Rift Herald to knock down another turret. And you know what? Respect to the engage from 2-0. Just totally in control of this game, saying, yeah, I don't care if I die. I'm going to go in a bit early. My team's going to clean up, and clean up they did here, TokiD.
Yeah, I mean, M2O is definitely the kind of player. I've been seeing it more and more throughout the day. They don't care about their KDA. They care about winning. That's the only thing they care about. 0-4-4, but this is a very impactful 0-4-4. Has definitely been a major playmaker for them across many fights, and even in the first game on the Nautilus had a lot of deaths, but also created a lot of those opportunities for the team.
All Out is available. I'm not sure if they should go for the fight. I guess Eclipse. Definitely no tabbies just yet. Just waiting on that one. Dragon coming up 45 seconds, and Milk has shown that they can slam a team fight. Will they go for this one? A bit low on the CDs for their ultimates, but it should be up by the time Dragon spawns. We'll see if they end up taking this fight, because that would be third Dragon and soul points for the side of Desperado. It's looking like they're playing from bot lane right now, which is kind of rough, not ideal. Are they going to play from mid lane? If they lose their AD carry, they definitely can't.
Kite's public execution going to interrupt the Valkyrie. So Kite's just going to get executed. Shutdown going the way of Bay Harbor Baser. And now it's on Desperado. They should be able to just walk in and clean up this dragon. They did use a couple ultimates, but they are all still very, very healthy for this play. And with Milk Esports, I thought they were backing up, but Dark Lord 70 is still in the area. They do have the blast cone if they want to just jump over. And they have vision as well. And meanwhile, insert best name does take the tier 1 in the top side. This play could happen at any moment. Dark Lord 70 definitely wants to make this happen. Herald being used as vision and potentially an escape later on, but Imto going to knock away loose cannon. But with the Nature's Grass coming in, Imto is going to be the first to go down. It is stolen, so Dark Lord going to get that, and with the Herald, will be able to get out. What a play coming out of Dark Lord 70. Oh, but they don't have their license. They missed the turret, but they should be able to walk away anyway. Deadly Flourish lands, though. But with the Cloud Field, I believe they have more than enough space to just back away slowly.
Definitely was like, I'm not going to hit the turret, and then last minute saw the health pull of the turret and was like, wait a minute, I should hit this turret, and then missed last second. But definitely failed the driving test there. Definitely did not pass. However, they are able to get the dragon, so there is no soul point. They do lose a couple. They lost Kites in the earlier skirmish, and they do lose their Rift Herald. But
but now Kamsi Kamsa all out, coming through from insert best name, and Loose Cannon is in the air, and Kamsi Kamsa is going to survive, but goes back in. So insert best name going to be able to secure that kill. Now fighting against Loose Cannon. Dark Lord 70 and Nolandino are both in the area now, and Dark Lord 70 looking towards Loose Cannon. When it becomes lightning, not going to be able to land. Instead, they're looking for the 3-talon strike, but both are just going to back away. Now Kite also in the area, but is just taking red buff as Dark Lord 70 might be getting jumped upon by 3. Insert best name still in the area, looks to go forward as the Crescent Guard is going to separate the fight, and they found Nolandino. Nolandino has nowhere to go. Kite's now going to join in with the extra slow, and Kites will secure that kill onto the Leona.
Another win picked up for the side of Milk Esports there. And, I mean, they're just fearless. They'll take a fight anywhere on the map, Toki.
I mean, they were so confident in all of these plays. And again, Kites was just taking red buff during that because he had so much confidence that Dark Lord 70 and It's Your Best Name, they were just going to be fine. They were just going to keep baiting. And when Kites is ready to go collect the kills, then Kites will show up. And I mean, it's worked for the team so far, and it looks like it's probably going to continue to work.
Yeah, I mean, look at Dark Lord 70 here. 404 cannot be found. 600 gold bounty has not been slain yet. Otacon is up here, and 2 items on both their carries.
Going to pull back Bay Harbor Base, or do they have enough damage? The third Togo strike, but instead the public execution to the backline. Kites flashing and cleansing away, but the curtains have been called in the backline. Pathmaker trying to buy some space, and 4th shot is going to land. Lost 0. Unstoppable now on this Jhin. Does not miss.
All right, it does bite them in the end. Unfortunately, though, I think this is going to neutralize because their top laner, Bay Harbor Baser, does not have TP, but Insert Best Name does. Still 20 seconds on the clock. There is going to be a bit of a reset. They're looking onto the Xin. Huge chunk.
Was going to get hit a lot. Crescent Guard has to be used defensively. There was no unleashed power available. Kamsi Kamsa did use in the previous fight. As Spiraling Despair also just goes wide by fights. Now, this could open up an opportunity for Desperado.
Yeah, Dark Lord is also not going to base. Just going to go for some farm to heal up instead. But that Crescent Strike is a very important ability to keep up if you want a team fight. And with that being blown, Milk Esports might think, you know, a couple times before going at this Otacon. Meanwhile, topside have to catch this top wave here. Insert Best Name matching Bay Harbor Baser. And this game, I mean, it's 2K apart in the gold, but it's quite close right now. Could be make or break for either team.
Yeah, and Lost 0 right now. 5, 0, and 3 on this Jhin. 2.5 items, including the rapid fire cannon. So Lost 0 should have a pretty easy time of landing those shots over top, even though it does get a little bit scary to approach both the Cassante and the Shinzao at times. But Dragon now spawning in a minute, and it looks like Desperado, they're just going to be fighting for this vision. They want to get as much forward vision as possible as loose cannon. Just going to take a little bit of poke again, but it's just the fear coming through. As for a second, I thought that was probably Despair again.
Yeah, that would be crazy. Stepping up.
Loose cannon is going to be going in, and they do have steadfast presence, but it doesn't matter. They're going to lose one. M2O will be able to survive in the end, but loose cannon still chasing. Is the little sapling going to make it? No, the Poppy's a little bit too fast, but that's a massive pick. They catch Dark Lord 70, and they're going to be able to get themselves the Otacon, though fight, dealing a lot of poke damage over top. It is going to be a very strong objective to fight into. This could still be defended.
Poke damage is their way to defend this. 9k though, half HP. Not a whole lot of time to buy.
Yeah, but they are going to start walking forward. Deadly Flourish buying a little bit more time, but Insert Best Name is going to be running forward. But Bay Harbor Base is just looking for its fights as Loose Cannon will go down, but the Otacon was secured by Desperado. But in the meanwhile, what happens for the rest of the fight? Kites going to get sniped out by Come See Come Saw. Fourth shot going to be coming over soon. Fights could be going down, but instead it's Bay Harbor Baser that will be going down to fights. It's a 3-for-1 in favor of Milk Esports. However, the Otacon goes the way of Desperado.
Yeah, but this does come at the cost. 1 for 3, and they're going to lose Dragon. So, a bit of a toss-up. I think a lot of teams would be happier with Otacon, but honestly, this is pretty close. Trade. So, again, these teams neck and neck, trying to either defend themselves or solidify a win in this series, sending them home 2-0. I mean, that would be definitely a blow to confidence to be going 0-4 your first 2 weeks.
I mean, it definitely would be, but Milk looking really strong right now overall as a team. They've definitely shown that they can make some mistakes, but they've also shown that they can make their plays. And I mean, M2O and Dark Lord especially, both of these are so fearless, and they don't hesitate at all to just jump into the fray and get those fights started. I think that is such a big amount of skill that is required in order to be able to make it happen, first of all, and the confidence that they're going to be able to bring for the rest of the team to follow them. It's really, really going to benefit them as they head through the season.
Momentum is a very important factor in playing the league setup here. Milk Esports love to bounce back, confidence booster to pick up a win. Dorado want to keep their streak going. Right now they're up against the wall, and that wall is Milk Esports. We'll see if they're going to be able to play the rest of this out, because Desperado have found themselves in a winnable game. Can they pull it off is the question.
Bay Harbor Baser, while setting up a bit of a death rush for fights, I think if they waited just a little bit longer, fights would have stepped forward, but instead they're just going to be walking past each other, watching each other in this bottom lane without the full engage coming through. Now, there is going to be Baron up now, so there is an objective on the map, but we're even seeing over in the bot lane, Dark Lord 70 going to be looking for the gank, and it is going to be fights in Dark Lord over in that bottom lane, but you know, on the top side, it is just going to be the vision being fought over here in the mid lane as Bay Harbor Baser will get finished off. Successful gank from Dark Lord 70, and fights should be able to get the push now. However, right now, Desperado, they're looking to get something back for it. They'll get some damage on the tier 1 in the mid lane, but they're not going to be able to finish it off.
Yeah, they do give it vision on Baron, but honestly not achievable to take it down at the moment. Not strong enough power differential. It's your best name. Should not be hot as a Cassante right there, but certainly a bit scary. Both the first turrets up in mid lane need to go for this game to progress. Both of these teams have not made any headway on taking down these turrets, but a second side lane turret and a tier 2 at that is going to be a nice gold boost for the side of Milk Esports, who are starting to pull away from Desperado. And I mean, if there's enough of a gold lead, if the carries have enough damage, that front to back is going to look absolutely nasty.
Yeah, there's no timer against them like there was in game number 1. There's no smolder that they need to worry about eventually stacking up that can eventually burn their team down. It's just the Jhin, it's just the Syndra. They're going to be strong. They are definitely going to be able to deal damage, but they can play this slow. They can play this methodically. And I think right now that's what Milk's doing, because they were getting pushed around hard in the early game. But not only have they been able to come back from it, they're in the lead right now pretty handedly.
Yeah. I mean, Corki deals a ton of damage right now. And once that third item locks in for fights, it's going to be an absolute heyday for Milk Esports as well. 1 minute 30 on this dragon. Soul point for either team. Whoever picks it up. We have Crab being taken by Desperado. But we know someone could be lurking around where they're not supposed to be. An early pick could send it either way for Milk or Desperado here. A lot of pick tools on the side of Desperado, by the way. We haven't talked about that part, Toki B, but Leona, Jhin, and a Syndra. If you're in the wrong spot at the wrong time, you're going to be toast.
Yeah, and I mean, it's pretty long range too. They have Scatter the Weak, they have Solar Flare, Deadly Flourish. Even Curtain Call, this slow from that is so good at starting fights. But they're not willing to pull the trigger yet. They want to make sure they have the positioning before they start anything like that. And then Nature's Grasp as well. Kind of a big one to forget, actually. The Maokai on Loose Cannon is definitely going to be so pivotal for these engages. Well, 30 seconds left to the Dragon. It looks like the vision is completely under control by Desperado. But Milk wants to trade for the Baron.
That's a good call. Have them walk into you. Walking into a Corki, walking into a Hwei is very deadly. And they're pulling it. They're starting it up.
Oh, but Dark Lord 70 going to be going in. 3 Talon Strike on it. Loose Cannon. Deadly Flourish going to prevent any follow-up. But Loose Cannon still going to be forced to flash away. Now, it is a Maokai will be able to heal back up off of camps, but that might have been enough to bully them off the Dragon. And just like that, Milk Esports is going to be able to walk in. Oh, but now Nature's Grasp going out over the top, but the Pathmaker is going to be there, will defend it. Curtains are being called in, and it seems like it's just to zone them off of the Dragon. I don't think there's any chance for an engagement. I don't think there's any chance for a team fight, so it's just going to be the cooldowns used for the priority on the Dragon. But now Dark Lord 70 taking a lot of damage from Bay Harbor Baser. And now with the Jhin Zhao being that low, I think that should be it, but it still doesn't look like it. Neither team wants to let this go. Spiraling Despair over top onto Nolandino, and it is going to be stolen. Dark Lord 70 will be able to get, now they get 1 kill, they get 2. M2O going to be the first one traded back. Loose Cannon is going golden and is trying to back away, but it's her best name with Fights will be able to get the kill, but Fights is traded back, and now Bay Harbor Baser winning out of the backline, but Kite's able to trade it right back, and Lord Zero getting run down by Insert Best Name. It is a 4 for 3 so far, and Insert Best Name still looking for Chem C Come Soft, but with the Pathmaker, it may still happen. Kites, Valkyrie's in. A couple more hits is all that's needed. The rocket not going to land. Kemsi Kamsa still trying to back away. Pathmaker not going to get predicted. Whoa. Scatter the Weak. Kemsi Kamsa will survive, but that's still the Dragon and the team fight going over to Milk Esports.
Oh, that's a delay. All right.
Yeah, and Kemsi Kamsa is going to continue being delayed. We'll try to back away, though.
Chase them down. Never ending, never gonna give up, but does survive. Come see, come saw, was able to survive, but at what cost? Triple win breaks. Movement speed on the Hwei is very good, especially if you want to be dodging solar flares here, as well as this. I mean, look at the speed on this Poppy, just walking around, absolutely just speeding around like Flash Wally West here, but. I mean, that is such a good steal. The flash in, as well as the fight starting up in Dragon.
Yeah, the look for Nolandino will be forced flash win. Kites, Valkyrie's forward. Whoa. The Nature's Grasp is going to get used on the backside. Solar Flare as well, but Cleanse is available. And now Public Execution on the backline. They have found Fights. They have found Kites. Bay Harbor Base are going to be able to get both of them in the backline, but now Kamsi Kamsa has gone down. Imto is still low.
Oh, nice
will be able to get the heroic charge under the wall. Imto is still alive.
Shield
gets the passive. Will be able to get that extra shield, and just like that, it's a 2 for 2. What an outplay at the end by Imto.
Yeah, Imto, you thought you had him, Bay Harbor Baser, but it was you who has been had. Oh, interesting fight here.
Yeah, they could be looking to trade for this Red Bull, but Insert Best Name just going to be running down Law Zero. Not going to be able to land the Pathmaker. Instead, Law Zero going to be walking forward. They're still going to be fighting this, but Nolandino may have gone a little bit far. There is Dark Zero dealing so much damage. Crescent Guard going to be able to keep Lost Zero away from the fight and keep them from finishing off insert best name. And now Imto also in the area, could look for more. And with the extra heal coming out, they will be able to just back away with the pick and the red buff.
Put a bit of respect. Dark Lord 70 has so much gold for a jungler. Wow, just starting that right up. There is a pink ward, so they do not see this right now. Until making it look like they're just doing normal vision. Nothing too crazy. And it looks like they have not noticed. Now Kites is here. The damage is going to start pouring in. Baron health pool ticking down ever so slowly.
That's it.
Yeah, they're not going to be able... Again, they got caught sleeping. Again, it's going to happen in game 1. Now in game 2, they're just not paying enough attention.
Yeah. And the same thing, Milk, definitely very good at noticing when the team's just not expecting the Baron. And they did not have the priority to do that necessarily. I think if Desperado walked in and checked, they would have had to back away. But they just had confidence Desperado was not going to be checking that brush at all. But now a little bit of fighting happening on the top side. I don't know if any of them will want to go all in here, but it seems like Bay Harbor Base are just going to chase off into their best name, clear the wave. But now there's a very solid potential for push in the mid lane and Soul Point coming up in a minute.
You definitely want to get turrets, though. Soul is nice. I don't think it's game winning just yet. But turrets, if you get full map control, that's something that can win you the game. They're not pushing in. Not trying to use the Baron buff just yet. Still trying to clear vision safely. Oh, wait a minute. This is dangerous.
They could have found loose cannon. Scatter the weak. Gonna buy some space. Same with Nature's Grass. Solar Flare over
double knockup.
That's just trying to prevent the fight. And Kemsika almost gets sniped out in the back line. Curtains are going to be called as well. And with that, Kemsika and Loose Cannon both forced to flash. As Mino on the top lane, it's her best name, going to get the tier 2. And they should have full priority for this dragon if they choose to even do it. Because right now, they have very good prio in the mid lane.
Select the speed shrine. Zen is also zipping around. And the slows have no effect.
Oh, but Post Execution is going to get whipped. That was the flash coming in from Bay Harbor Baser as well. And now the Heroic Charge going to keep Bay Harbor Baser away. That is going to be the first kill. Nolandino going to be falling.
Oh, no.
It's her best name looking for loose cannon. And they got 2. And Tofu Strike going to land. It's going to be 3. And I think they may have just done it. I think Milk Esports with that, they should be able to just push into this. Kemsika on Lost Hero. They are still there. Their damage dealers are available, but can they defend right now? They are marching straight into the mid lane. They got the mid tier 3. They got the inhibitor. It's her best name. Still has all out as well. Flash coming up soon as well. But in the background, they're going to be able to find Dark Lord. But Kemsika also going to be able to back away. They've got an Imto. They're looking for more. Insert best name. Gonna get finished off. Fight snipes out. Kemsika in the back line, but they are going to defend, and Desperado are going to stay alive.
That is a game saver right there. You have to get rid of this Syndra if you want to win the game, and they just couldn't do it barely in time. This does give away the soul. Look at the damage. Yeah,
the TP's coming through. They see it, and it's gonna get claimed. Lost Zero able to get that kill, and the dragon, and Fights is gonna go down to Bay Harbor Baser. That is the most valuable Deadly Flourish I've ever seen in my life.
I do want to point out that Deadly Flourish can be blocked, and yet they did not respond in time to block the one thing that could steal Dragon at low HP, the Deadly Flourish. I would like a replay on that just to see how close it is, but man, that was a huge mistake to not block.
Yeah, but that isn't Soul for Desperado, but it is going to prevent Soul from Milk. Next Dragon is going to be Soul regardless of who gets it. And the game, we're back to more or less even. 4K at 37 minutes is essentially meaningless. Every team has their core items built. It's just going to be those tiny little edges in those fights that maybe will be enough, but I think positioning is definitely going to matter a lot more with the way these fights have been going.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem like Milk is kind of the one dominating the fights a bit more. Desperado a bit on the back foot, because like that last fight was Milk kind of overextending to try to win the game, and Desperado punishing again. So it does seem like everything's pointing in favor of Milk at this point in time.
Yeah, right now it's her best name. Just hiding in the brush. Does see Bay Harbor
doesn't
Baser.
see him.
The sweeper unfortunately expires at the wrong time. It's not going to amount to anything, but is interesting to see. But they still
thought there'd
did
be
get the...
I thought there'd be more of a trade there. I think insert best name could have taken that a bit further, but doesn't feel confident.
Yeah, I think it's her best name was just not fully aware of where the rest of Desperado was. Just didn't want to take that trade, didn't want to take that fight. And they do have the inhibitor still down in the mid lane, so they are going to be able to have that passive priority coming in for them in the mid. But insert best name still going to be pushing forward, whereas the rest of Milk Esports, it looks like they're trying to bait a fight. I think they did. Okay, yeah, they spotted out Imto, so they know that there is going to be some help there. Imto just going to be backing away. Same with insert best name. But with no objectives up until the Baron in a minute, there's not too much for these two teams to fight over. They're just kind of jockeying for position.
Yeah, they're just clearing waves, pushing, trying to get vision control. I mean, can they get something with... I mean, they could try to get top turret at least on the side of Milk Esports. That would require 4 of them to commit towards the top side. Certainly can be done, but I don't think they're going to risk it.
Yeah, and now we are seeing a decently hard trade coming out in the bot.
Oh, wait a
Both
minute.
sides are fighting, but now they have found comes on. Dark Lord 70 is just going to be able to finish
That
off
might
the
be
kill
game.
scatter of the week. Got them straight into the wall, but in the meanwhile, All Out is there, but insert best name is going to be traded out, so it is a 1-for-1 so far. But Bay Harbor
He goes
Baser
directly
needs
through.
to run away now. There is no tier 2 turret. Dark Lord 70 audacious charges forward, will get the knock up as well. The 3-town strike more than enough, and now public execution in the backline, just trying to buy some time, buy some space. But they're on the Baron. However, I think they might be okay with that on the side of Milk. But no, they're going to be TPing in. It looks like they do still want to fight. That Keeper's Verdict is going to be there. And they are going to knock away one, but Loose Cannon will still be able to get the Baron. But can Loose Cannon get away? Fights it in the air. They have the fear. They have the Spiraling Despair. Loose Cannon got to go golden with the Nature's Grasp and immediately flash away. Just buying so much time. I don't think Loose Cannon can get away. I think they're just there to try and buy as much time for Bay Harbor Baser to respawn, but they will eventually be going down. Surely, anyway. Kites just... Okay, looks like they're trying to get as many staggered death timers as possible, so well done by Milk Esports on that pick, but the Baron for Desperado is going to be huge.
I think they could have went for the end. I think they could have just sent...
I thought they were going to.
Yeah, I thought M2 could have just stalled, and then the rest of the team just pushed down mid, because they don't have Syndra anymore. It's really hard to push the waves, even if they don't have Baron. But looks like this is just going to end on a Dragon Soul fight here. I mean, what other way can we have this game end?
I mean, if it's anything like LTA, over the Otacon the team throws, but luckily this is tennis, so we're going to have a much more exciting end. As now Dark Lord found the play. They found Come See, Come Suck. Kites had more than enough damage. Pathmaker now finding its way on to Nolandino. As now Dark Lord finds the background as well. Lost Zero is stuck in the middle of everyone. Kites able to get a triple kill. They're looking for more. It is a 3-for-0. Loose Cannon only now spawning back in, and now that should be it. But they don't have the wave yet. Right now, insert best name trying to push the wave. They need to wait for this to come through. It is just Bay Harbor Baser and Loose Cannon. Come See, Come Sound, Lost Zero. They were able to do the defense 2v5 last time, but these are not the damage dealers. These are not the ones that can clear the waves. Nature's Grasp going to be coming through, but Keeper's Verdict just buying some time. And instead, the public execution into the backline not going to be enough. Kites with the unofficial Quadra gonna be able to get that kill as well, and it's all on to Loose Cannon. 15 seconds for Come See, Come Saw. Heroic charge into the wall, will go golden, but will get finished off immediately on spawn, and that is going to be it. Milk Esports, they win the series, and they win it 2-0.
And that's got to be a confidence booster there, because they just dominated the team fights the whole series along TokiD. And credit to Dark Lord 70. Not only did they catch Come See, Come Saw once, but twice in a row to win that game. Really putting on the carry pants at the end there. And of course, Kites doing excellently as an AD carry in both games, providing all that DPS. And that one was a lot closer. That was a better showing from Desperado. Fortunately, couldn't just put it together there at the end, getting caught out. And there was no great big team fight at the end. Toki beat.
Never was
just
needed.
end up
Dark Zero
being,
made sure of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, I gotta say, Milk Esports, they're looking really solid as a team because, like you said, they were behind in the early game. They were able to bring it back for themselves. Dark Zero finding the angles, M2O forcing out a lot of plays in those early game team fights to claw them back in, to even get them to the advantage. So this is definitely going to be a team to watch for the rest of the season. Now, do you have any final thoughts before we close it out, Crims?
Pick Ornn next time.
Definitely. I mean, Ornn is the best champion of the game, but either way, thank you all for coming out. Thank you all for watching and supporting Titan Esports. We'll be back again in exactly 1 week for Immortal. In the meanwhile, be sure to check out all our other leagues. But with that, my name was Tokabi. Joining me was Crims, and I hope you all have a great night.